What's up, guys? Adam Green here with No More News. Thank you all for joining me. Today, Monday, March 24th, 2025. Monday morning, I got a case of the Mondays, to be honest. But a lot of important stuff to cover today. I hope you're all doing well. It's going to be a big show, an important show. Going to be countering the plethora of kosher Christian controlled op disinformation that has just been, it's always been dominant online, but it's increasingly exploding recently. And these are the lies, these are the kosher distractions that obfuscate the real conspiracy, confuse, deflect, shift blame, gets people chasing ghosts, gets people discrediting themselves. It provides them a way to avoid talking about the actual conspiracy. And I want to start by reminding everybody that when Netanyahu a few months ago addressed Congress in the United States, his special guest to come watch his speech was Elon Musk. Elon Musk, who is Trump's top guy now as well. Oh, that's what I got to get rid of. Okay. So let's listen to this. And then I'll explain why I'm showing this.
For the Netanyahu address today?
I am.
You plan to attend?
I do.
And whose guest are you?
Netanyahu.
Okay.
Would you speak to President Trump about people?
Netanyahu's special guest. He also invited Netanyahu to tour the Tesla factory. He also went over to Israel with Netanyahu and put on his little IDF vest to look at the, I think, October 7th sites, as well as how he went over to Auschwitz with Ben Shapiro. Special guest invite to Netanyahu's speech. I think that explains why we're seeing this explosion on Twitter and we're being overrun with, I'm sure, very likely botted and just boosted by networks of people captured in controlled op talking points. That the app is overrun with anti-Jewish kosher disinformation while the real conspiracy is suppressed. All of these copes and lies that deflect away from what we should be focused on, the actual reality of the situation. And all these people falling for this trap and becoming the victims and giving Jews their victimhood are going to be in for a very rude awakening when they decide to drop the hammer. They'll share lies and fake quotes and fake rabbi clips go ultra viral, while the true conspiracy being laid out in real rabbi clips is ignored and suppressed. Christianity and Islam, the alliance opposition against Judaism, completely controlled within the Judeo paradigm. Listen to Elon's dad reveals that Netanyahu are longtime family friends. Interestingly, Netanyahu was also a longtime family friend with Fred Trump, Donald's daddy. And Fred Trump, Donald Trump's daddy, donated land for Chabad synagogues. He invested in Israeli bonds, and he was friends with Netanyahu when he was ambassador to America in the 1980s.
Actually, the president, not Biden. Netanyahu. There's so many things I can talk to you about.
This is Elon's dad, by the way.
Yeah.
Netanyahu is like a family friend of ours, I mean, he described Elon as 2 years ago, he said Elon's the de facto president of the United States. Netanyahu said Elon is the de facto president of the United States.
And you're wondering now why, exactly according to the plan, like I've been warning is going to happen, the connections with Rome and Edom, the explosion of Christian anti-Semitism against Jews online before the fall and the crushing of Edom.
He's actually the president, not Biden. And so, no. I mean,
Yeah, and Netanyahu and the Kushners, exactly right. Netanyahu is longtime friends with the Kushners, slept in Jared Kushner's bed when he visited New Jersey. So now we're seeing the complete explosion of all of the controlled op, kosher, disinformation, dialectical talking points exploding all over Twitter, and you're not going to pause and ask why. They are giving you the rope to hang yourself. The hammer's going to drop. They're going to pull the rug out from underneath you. These lies and the disinformation, literally the lies from the Christians is literally the key to Jewish power. They get away with what they get away with because they're surrounded by Christian supporters and then Christian liars.
that's ridiculous.
Okay? Longtime family friends. Look, this is the plan.
Are going to be immune to any tragedy. After 9
What does this say? Jewish Women's Renaissance Project. Listen to their understanding of what's happening in Edom.
After 9/11, I started reading the scary prophets that talked about what happens at the end of days. That when everything is going to come down, and ultimately the Jews are all going to move to Israel, and it's not that Jews there are going to be immune to any tragedy, but it's clear, and I checked it with different rabbis, that you'll be safer in Israel than anywhere else in the world. So I asked a very great rabbi, when do we go? We're doing work out here in North America, important work for the Jewish people, but are we supposed to be like waiting till the end and we shut off the lights when everybody else is gone? When do we get out?
You see this talking point a lot. I've seen clips of Jews talking about that they're all talking and they're getting their passports ready and that they don't feel safe. The end of the, what was it? The Jewish golden era of America is ending, I think was the Atlantic headline. They're saying it could happen here, like Jonathan Greenblatt's book saying another Holocaust could happen in America. This is the narrative because this is the script before the downfall. This is the template that we see in the Purim story, where Amalek and Haman rose up to try to have a decree to destroy all of the Jews in Persia. But instead, Esther and Mordecai did a little funny business and allowed the Jews to slaughter all the Persians. This is what we see the narrative from Germany, from Egypt and the Exodus story, from Persia, all of it. It's the template, it's the theme,
When
it's
is the
their
right
script.
time to leave? Because you don't want to wait till the end.
Well, Trump just says that they're taking Gaza, so there's going to be a whole new super city being built where Jews can go make aliyah to. They're saying they got their passports ready. They don't feel safe anymore. They're wondering which one of their Gentile friends is going to hide them in the walls and in the basements and under the floorboards. This is the type of stuff they're saying all the time.
So he said, when they start killing Jews in the street, get out. So every time I hear of an incident, every time I hear of another tragedy, and every time I hear they're killing Jews in the street, my rabbi's words resonate with me. I'm hoping and praying that we will be able to return very soon. Of course, there are many factors.
The rise in anti-Semitism means they think their redemption is near.
And for those of you who are watching me from Israel, I know you're going to be replying and writing in. Then come now, Lori. Come on. I'm working on it. As my friend said, if you can't be there now, send them ahead. We have some kids living in Israel now and more on the way. And God willing, we too will follow. I hope this is not too apocalyptic to you, but history is unfolding before our eyes, and we can't turn away.
This is the
I'm
PSYOP.
Lori. Amos.
This is the PSYOP. That the people that are chanting Christ is King and blaming Jews for killing God and then these denials about Jesus wasn't Jewish and the Jews aren't actually Jews and the Jews don't worship Yahweh. They don't think they're chosen by Yahweh. They secretly worship Satan. And they're not even Jews. They're Khazarians. And all of this distracting, confusing, kosher disinformation, which, granted, a lot of the people that spread this and tweet it maybe just aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. Maybe they've just fallen for the psyop as well, but they're just big amplifiers of it. We're dealing with a lot of subtarded people out there. You look at the bell curve, and most people are not very bright, especially the ones that are already predisposed to not having critical thinking skills and not having discernment. They're already falling for Christianity. And then, so it's their lies protect the whole conspiracy, and Christians and Muslims are part of the conspiracy. They're part of the messianic, prophetic, apocalyptic, Jewish agenda. Look at 1984 here. He says, Jews are already looking for places to hide. They must know what's coming. Personally, if he was Jewish, he would leave now. By the time Epstein and 9/11 files drop, you really think they're dropping any real shit in there? There won't be a single place in all of America to hide. 4,000 likes. See, I had a convo with a Jewish Ivy League PhD student recently. He's pretty sure most people he knows, particularly his university friends, wouldn't hide him. Every diaspora Jew knows what that means. Rabbi Mizrachi approves this message.
I'm just describing to you, now the Jews gonna run away from America. Most of them assimilated, so they'll become goyim already, their children, so they have nothing to wear because they're not Jewish. But those who are still religious, they will all get up within a year or 2 or 5. We'll all have to run away from here. Once we will leave this place, Hashem will bury America. That's what's gonna happen.
Once the Jews leave America, Hashem will bury America, destroy Edom. That is the plan. We're only laying it out with hours of clips of rabbis explaining this, and the Christians are falling right into the trap, and they are going to be the destruction of us all if we don't wake them up to the actual conspiracy.
Not because I'm some kind of a prophet. I'm not giving you any prophecies here. I'm just describing to you a divine formula. The chosen people, where they're going to live, and you'll be good to them and nice to them, I will bless you from the place. The Torah has a source for it.
They say they don't believe the Torah. It's the Talmud's the problem and the Schofield, but that's the other limited hangout. Blaming, scapegoating footnotes on a KJV Bible, a few footnotes, that's what's kosher, and that's what Jewified the Bible. No, that's limited hangout bullshit. All of the Bible is a Jewish scam, not just Schofield. The problem is not just the Talmud. The Talmud is expanding in commentaries and interpretations completely rooted in the Torah. You go look at the Talmud on Sefaria, and every other paragraph, they're quoting the Torah. All of the anti-Gentile, messianic, Yahweh conquering the world, all of that, we're the chosen people, their supremacist ideologies, all rooted in the Torah, not in the Talmud. If you don't oppose the Torah, you're not opposing the actual Jewish conspiracy. And then they lie and run cover and say they're fake Jews that don't believe in the Torah. No, now you're just deflecting from the problem, which is that they're Jews that believe, that are following the Torah. Perfect representation of how Christian anti-Semitism gets attached to legit criticism and completely discredits us. So we got tinfoil hatters, and it shouldn't really be that. It should just be normal Chads saying USS Liberty, supremacist rabbis, real conspiracies. And then all of the NPCs go, whoa, that's interesting. The Jews hate us? Oh, they have that type of power? Oh, that's what their rabbis want to see? But then you get the retarded Christians come in here and say, Jews killed Jesus, the Talmud's bad, the Torah is good, the earth is flat, Christ is king, they drink baby blood, they worship the devil, they're fake Jews, they're Khazars, we're the real Jews, we're the real chosen, all of this. Instead of exposing how they think we're Esau, Edom, they say they're secretly Esau, Edom, all of this nonsense. All of this over-the-top, clownish, cartoonish racism or Hollywood, clownish Nazi LARPing. All of that just turns away all the normal people, and most normal people see you unhinged liars spreading fake quotes and fake clips and being completely unhinged and deranged and pathological liars, and they run away and they think, poor Jews. Sympathy for the Jews. Completing the circle, completing the dynamo. Another meme demonstrating this. Hopefully I can get through some of the simpleton minds with some simple memes here, okay? So the smart people that got it figured out realize that Yahweh, Torah, prophecies, end times, that's the actual conspiracy. And then all the people here in the center look at these retards on one side that say Jews are satanic, they killed God, and think, you guys are crazy, and poor Jews. That's what you do. You are the shield that protects. You are a protective layer that shields Judaism and Jews with their nonsense. And some of the times, you know what? I see what people are doing. Like they think, oh, we're saying they're not real Jews, so they don't have a right to the land. That's probably what their mindset is. Or they say they're doing evil things, so they must worship the devil. No, they're doing evil things in the name of believing in Hashem. And that's how you need to look at it. Okay, this idea of they killed God, so moronic on so many levels. Number one, it's a mythical story. Number two, it's God's plan and Jesus's plan, and the prophecies foretold. It had to happen that way. God's predetermined, preordained plan. Christians wouldn't have their religion. They wouldn't have their savior. They wouldn't have their scapegoat, blood magic, atonement sacrifice of Jesus to be washed in the blood and saved for their sins if the Jews didn't reject their Messiah. Caring about Jews rejecting their Messiah, and you've already lost. Caring about the Messiah that was meant to conquer all of the world to begin with is not the own on the Jews you think it is. This is not serious. This is textbook Christian-controlled opposition.
And I'm like, really? Like, they killed God. And I'm like, really? Like, they killed God.
It elevates them to like a supernatural villain status of God slayers. If they can kill God, then what else can they do? They drink baby blood and have black magic sorcery powers? But guess we can't fight back against them. We just have to trust the plan and wait for Jesus to come save us. Don't worry, guys. They're running things now, but in heaven, when Jesus comes, or when we're in heaven, it says we win. We win in the end, right, guys?
And I'm like, really? Like, they killed God.
It literally says it's God's preordained plan, according to the scriptures, had to happen. Whose plan was that? You wouldn't have your religion. If the Jews didn't reject their Messiah according to the prophecies, then they would not be the branches that got cut off, so you could be grafted in. And you could become spiritual, circumcised of the heart, inward Jews, as the New Testament says. And then this is going to be your main critique. Christians have been believing that Jews rejected Jesus for 2,000 years. Where's Judaism and Jews at today? Where has that led us? They achieved their goals conquering all the pagan idol worship. You know, Christianity has turned more kosher than ever, and Judaism and Jews is more powerful than ever. So, great plan, God. Thanks a lot. Nothing they hate more than Jesus, huh?
Christian.
And here's the other thing. We've shown and disproven them so many times, every day, day in and day out, showing them how they're wrong. showing them the receipts of how they're wrong. And what do? They go, la, 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 you guys are Jewish, la, 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 Christ is king, like totally brain dead sheep. Christ is king of the Jews. Yeah, Moshiach is king. You think the Jews hate you believing in a Jewish king, in a Davidic dictator that fulfilled Hebrew prophecies?
Christ is king! Christ is king!
Jesus is king. So powerful, it charges me up, it excites me, it fills me with resolve. They hate nothing more than that name, than Jesus Christ. It has tremendous power. Never forget that.
How can I not be happy when I see millions of goyim bow down to one Jew tonight?
I'm not telling y'all what to think about Jesus. I think y'all should go to church. I think that you guys should believe in your religion. I think that you should advocate for your religion. I think that you should become, if you are a Christian, good Christian men and women who bring up your kids in good Christian ways. I'm a Jew.
They were religious Jews who loved the fact that Christians celebrated their religion. And I have adopted that attitude all of my life. Christians true to their faith are doing God's work. That's what I believe. And as Maimonides, who was no fan of Christianity or Islam, because he was persecuted by both, the greatest Jewish thinker, many think, he said it's Christians who brought the world to the Torah more than Jews did. And I never forget that. That's a fact. The reason people know the word Genesis or Leviticus or Deuteronomy is because of Christians.
Hey, Shmuley, why don't you believe that Jesus is the Messiah, specifically?
Well, I believe that Jesus is the Christian Messiah in the sense that he brought divinity and redemption to the non-Jewish nations of the world, and Christianity is a great world religion.
So has any of these Christians read Rabbi Shmuley's book titled Kosher Jesus to see what they actually say about Jesus, how they actually view Jesus? They have no nuance. They just keep lying to themselves that there's nothing they hate more. They fell completely for the trap that was set for them. You're now worshiping the Jewish Messiah, which was the Jewish goal all along. Immortal Alice says Jesus was a tool used to subvert paganism on behalf of Judaism. Yeah, it's very simple. Pagan for Life for 25 says, what up? What up to you, Pagan for Life? 9. What up? Thank you for the support, buddy. They don't even read their Bible. They don't even go to church. They don't even read the Bible. They're disavowed. All these internet Christians, e-crusaders, are all disavowed and excommunicated from all real churches. Condemned, officially, explicitly condemned. Brother Nathaniel, E. Michael Jones, Fuentes, Corey Mailer, this other guy, Joel Wibben, all of them. You get kicked out. You're not the real Christians. You claim they're not the real Christians. They're not the real Jews. You're not the real Christians. It's no true Scotsman fallacies all around. Zorn de Erm says, was just listening to Fuentes summarizing how Israel killed JFK. This all looks like a controlled process. The anti-Semitism is planned, folks. Relevant to this subject, I think. Well, I mean, it's inevitable that when you see how much power and influence they have, people are going to wake up to it and get mad about it. But it's controlled in the way that the narrative that's being dominated is the religious standpoint. You're still within the religious framework. The fact that the topic central to our political and cultural discourse today is fighting over Jewish myths with Jews, two Jewish sects fighting over the identity of the Jewish Messiah, who fighting over the fulfillment of Jewish prophecies and Hebrew covenants. That's how you know we're lost. The Christians and Muslims are dancing to the beat of their drum. They're playing in their sandbox. They're completing the spectrum with them. Yo, John Garadas for 5 says 5 shekel, don't be a Jew challenge. Yeah. We'll just do that every day now. You're a Jew if you don't donate 5 shekels.
So many of these Orthodox Jews, as I watch their shows and, I follow all the cultures out there, they're like, you know what? We just think the Messiah's coming and we like Jesus now and we just want to be friends.
Maimonides writes in a censored passage in his writing, it was taken out by Christian censors in the Middle Ages, that he saw both Christianity and Islam as being very worthwhile steps to wean the ancient world away from paganism and to give them a sense of morality and ethics.
wean the goyim away from the paganism.
Christ is king!
So that's the truth. Nothing they hate more, huh? You think calling them God killers? Do you know how unserious that sounds to everybody that's not a Christian? You can't even convince most Christians to pick up that cause, hating Jews for killing God, because they know the New Testament. They know the story. They know the Pharisees' role in the story. They believe their hearts are hardened by God. It's God's plan. They're just temporarily hardened. In fact, Christianity ensured the survival of Judaism by spreading their Jewish Torah around the world, by conquering all the pagan cultures, by actually making laws protecting and shielding Judaism. They had forced conversions on pagans, but would pass laws, no forced conversions on Jews. Paganism was outlawed, but Judaism was still allowed. You're just totally not serious. They killed God, as if your God could die to begin with. And he didn't even die. He's God. He's in heaven ruling. He's ruling as a king in heaven. And you're complaining about him dying? And none of this even happened? It's complete Jewish comic book fan fiction based on scripture? You lose credibility. You give them their victimhood. You discredit opposition. Accusing them of killing God, and a group of a dozen Pharisees, assuming it was real, a group of a dozen Pharisees 2,000 years ago said crucify him, so all Jews today are cursed and blamed for something they didn't even do 2,000 years ago? And you think that's the pragmatic, strategic talking point? Your main thing is getting mad about Jews rejecting their Messiah, who was meant to enslave us and subjugate all of the world, and that's your big issue? The only real problem Christians have with Judaism is that Jews don't believe in Jesus. The real criticism should be they think they're chosen, their God wants to rule the world with them and their Messiah. That should be what we're opposed to. Instead, they're just mad that they didn't accept the Messiah that has conquered the world. Gentile News Network says, always do opposite of what Jews say. 28,000 likes. Okay. Well, Ben Shapiro tells you to go to church. So don't go to church then. Do you not get it? All the top Zionists, Shapiro, Prager, so many Messianic Jews promoting Jesus, by the way. Not to mention, don't listen to what Jews say, but you believe the Bible. Don't listen to what Jews say, but you believe the Pharisee, Rabbi Shaul, or Paul. All of Christianity was started by Jews. In fact, according to the Bible, the Jews that started Christianity got in fights over if Gentiles could even convert to be Christians. You want to do the opposite of what Jews say, but you follow Rabbi James and Rabbi Peter and Rabbi Paul. You believe the Jews that told you that you're saved and you'll go to heaven if you believe in the sacrificial death of the King of the Jews.
Not only no problem with people, why is it you have not only no problem with people saying, for example, Christ is king? I think that that's a good thing for Christians to say. I want Christians to do that because I think that for American society, more people need to declare who are Christian that Christ is king and go back to church.
So everybody just goes, oh, Ben Shapiro, he hates Jesus. He hates Jesus so much. Like 10 years ago, he was on Joe Rogan. He asked, do you believe that Jesus resurrected? And he goes, no, I'm a Jew. I mean, we think he was killed by the Romans for his troubles. That's what everybody thinks. The Bible says he was crucified by the Romans because he was a threat to Rome because the Jews wanted him to. Like, what else do you expect him to say? If he said he resurrected and he's the Son of God, he'd be a Christian. And the thing is, too, is these Christians act like, oh, they're so anti-Jewish. They call Jews satanic. By extension, they also call all of the Gentiles that don't want to worship the Jewish Messiah satanic. Way more pagans and Gentiles have been called satanic and Antichrist than Jews ever were. Because there's way more pagans and Gentiles than Jews in the world, or there was. The Christians will never share these clips on what the rabbis and Jews actually say about Jesus. They're covering it up and lying and gaslighting themselves and the world that there's nothing they hate more. See Through It All found a great smoking gun on Shapiro, an article he wrote 22 years ago. Why Christianity is Good for America, Part 1, Ben Shapiro. Christmas, 2003. Ready? He says, American Jews should celebrate the existence of Christmas. We should feel joy when Christmas comes around, and not just because American Christianity is tolerant. American Jews should feel joy specifically because America is a Christian country. The dominance of tolerant Christianity makes that more non-Jews are fulfilling God's plan for them. Unlike other religions, Judaism does not seek converts. In fact, Jews are required to discourage non-Jews from converting. Jewish thought says that God does not only care about the Jews, the billions of non-Jews worldwide have obligations to fulfill as well, while Jews are obligated to fulfill 613 commandments or mitzvot. Judaism says that non-Jews earn a place in the world to come by adhering to 7 simple rules known as the Noahide laws. See, Christians that are trying to sound the alarm about Noahide laws, the conspiracy is that you already are basically Noahides. They've already, look at Acts 15, already basically put the Noahide laws on you. Ben Shapiro continues. The Noahide laws provide the formula for a better world. American Christianity brings such a world closer to reality. American Christianity binds its adherents to most, if not all, of the Noahide laws. You're basically already Noahides. Why shouldn't Jews rejoice when Christians practice their faith? Observing Christianity means fulfilling the obligations of the righteous non-Jew. Many Jews and non-Jews alike serve the Creator in the way God meant them to. That's what he actually sees you as Noahides, and you want to claim there's nothing he hates more. Yeah, game, set, match. Exactly. And what does it get? 250 likes. Pretty good. But never in the tens of thousands like the fake quotes and the fake rabbis and the screenshots of headlines from obscure nothing blogs claiming lies. It's so pathetic. It's so disgraceful. And it's so infuriating because Jews get away with everything they get away with because of Christianity. And the first line of defense shielding them is these anti-Semitic Christians that won't get things right, won't cover what the Jews actually is the conspiracy. Instead, they lie about everything and get scapegoated as the villains themselves. Oh, reminds me also, Henrik found, I'm glad too, because the Jewish website, I think, took this down, this article, Neopaganism in the Public Square and its Relevance to Judaism. The Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs, they took this down because I was bringing attention to it. Ben Shapiro kvetches about the rise of the pagans and says, go to church. And then these idiots just want to lie to us nonstop. Neopaganism in the public square. It says Jews are scared of neopaganism, and instead they want you to be Christians and Muslims and be Noahide laws. Because besides the Trinity is the only hiccup, you don't worship idols. You worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob of the Torah. No blasphemy. Christians want blasphemy laws just like rabbis. Christians want the Messiah of the Bible to come and rule the world just like the rabbis. And then they're going to look at us with a straight face and say they're in opposition to Judaism when they both essentially want the exact same thing. A Messiah, a Jewish Messiah to rule the world. So yeah, this whole article from it's a long one though. Jerusalem Center for Public Affairs. They're scared of paganism and they want you to stay on the Abrahamic plantation as Noahides. No, the gaslighting. Who do they hate more? Paganism or Judaism? I don't know. Have you ever actually listened to them?
So why today Jews go to places that Christians make churches? Because the idol worshipping of the Christians is not as bad as the idol worshippings of Nepal or India and other places.
Idol worship of Christianity is not as bad as pagan idol worship. You hear that, Christians? And then we show you these clips, and what do you say? They won't share them. They act like they don't exist. They like to pretend that they don't exist. You can't run from these forever. You're literally accomplices suppressing and help cover up the actual conspiracy and then running cover for them by spreading fictional fake rabbi audio recordings. Ghost of Eldon for 20 says, bro, we are so cooked. Let's just do some real white man shit and sail to some island in South Pacific and start over. We can call it Pagantopia. Not a bad idea. Maybe soon that'll be an option.
Because they still believe in our God, but they believe in somebody else. It's called shituf.
You still believe in their God. Their whole goal is to get you to believe in their God. And Jesus brought the nations, Judaized them, weaned them off of their pagan idol worship to worship the God of Israel.
Cooperation. When a Jew comes and reads in a book of God that Christians and Muslims admit that is the book of God, there's no debate about it. Everyone agrees, the three main religions.
All the religions agree that their book, the Jewish book, is the word of God. Here's another one. Which is worse?
Christianity is not the worst form of idol worshipping.
Christianity is not the worst form of idol worshiping. Do you hear that? They prefer Shabbos Goy, Noahide Christians and their useful idiot, evil Esau, controlled opposition talking points, discrediting rhetoric from the Christian Muslim opposition.
Christianity is not the worst form of idol worshipping.
And then these Anon e-crusaders online are going to say pagans are a Jewish psyop. No, not the religion that serves them and sends them billions of dollars and fights their wars for them and helped create the state of Israel, and not the religion that worships and believes the God in the prophecies. That's not the psyop. No, they're wage war by deception, and they're always setting up controlled oppositions, but you're going to fail to see the most obvious textbook example of controlled opposition to Judaism. Christians are controlled opposition because they worship the same God. And that's why they have to lie and say, no, the Jews worship Satan. And they go, oh, the honest rabbis say it. No, they don't. There's never been a rabbi saying they worship Satan. You're lying. You're either playing their clip out of context, or it's a fake quote, or a fictional actor rabbi doing a fake audio recording. That's all you have. And we're going to show that too. And that's the cope, because Christians can't admit that they worship the same God as the Jews, because then it's obvious they got conned.
The worst idol worshipping is when a person bow down to the stars, to the sun, to the moon, to a tree, to an animal, to the water, to anything, any object. Or takes a human.
So you're not supposed to see the real world and our reality as divine. No, that's all evil and fallen and sinful, and you just have to pray to the Jewish God that you go into the Jewish heaven. Zorander Edom says, truly, Adam, you are the only prominent voice not simply noticing but explaining the motives behind Zionism, Judaism, and its main mechanisms of power, Christianity and Islam. Any analysis of geopolitics is frustratingly incomplete without the green pill. Sad, so many otherwise awake folk are still cucked. And you know what they do, too? Instead of actually addressing what I say, they straw man, they ignore, they blackball, they blacklist, suppressed and shadow banned by the algorithm, by all these accounts blocking me that I never even engage with, and then lie and slander and say that I'm Jewish. They don't have to see that they can stay stuck in their bubble, and their Jewish, under their Jewish hypnotized spell bubble, and not have to even address or listen to anything we say, because they say, oh, you guys are Jewish. They just go, they lie to themselves, say that we're Jewish so that they don't have to deal with what we're saying.
Human being and said, this is God. And I worship him, and my life is in his hand, and he's going to save me, and he's going to bring soulmates to my kids, and all kinds of nonsense like this. That's a pure idol worshiping. The Christians, they believe in the God, in the creator of the world. They don't say there's no God. They definitely understand there is a God.
VTA American says, funny, you want to constantly talk about fringe positions. What fringe position has I talked about? I haven't talked about that. I'm saying the dominant positions is what's wrong. I'm saying the dominant brainwashing position is the psyop. The Bible is the most printed book and most read book of all time. It's the most dominant religion. I'm not saying I'm the dominant position, so you're already wrong. You say, I Googled, did Jesus exist? And you're wrong, apparently. Well, I'm glad you Googled and then read from Wikipedia quoting Bart Ehrman. I've actually read Bart Ehrman's books, and I've read five to 10 books specifically debunking Bart Ehrman. I've been watching the debates go back and forth between Bart Ehrman and the other mythicists. But hey, you just Googled it, so I guess you know better. I guess you know better. Sorry, I'm not impressed with they come in with the fallacious argument. If you had any evidence Jesus was real, you would say it. Jesus is real because of this. You just say, oh, well, the consensus that's been dominated by Christians and believers for 2,000 years. Yeah, even Bart Ehrman says, they go, even the atheist Bart Ehrman. Bart Ehrman was trained at Moody Bible Institute. It's a Zionist school. His mentor was an evangelical Christian. That's who you're quoting. When he says all these scholars agree, he's talking about a bunch of Christian and quasi-Christian scholars, many of them who have to sign faith agreements at seminaries and theological schools to keep their job. So all they ever do is appeal to authority and appeal to consensus. The authority and the consensus was established by Christians, and it's still maintained by Christians. Yeah, it's the even Bart Ehrman says fallacy. So thank you for the 5, VT American, but I'm not impressed with your 1 second of research where you Googled it and Rabbi Google. It's like, I love how it's these conspiracy theorists, they're skeptical of everything. Oh, all the scientists agree that the earth is round. Well, they're all lying, but when they want to say Jesus for sure existed, the scholars agree, then you believe it. Not to mention, if you want Bart Ehrman to be your authority on if Jesus existed, Bart Ehrman says that most of the story of Jesus is myth, and Christianity is based on forgeries. So there you go.
The God of the Torah, the God of Israel, he built the world, he made the world, he runs the world. They just claim that he has a partner. It's called shituf. Shituf, meaning he has an assistant, someone that he used to do the divine work in the world, which is a big sin to do such thing. But it's less than someone that come and say the sun is God, the cow is my God.
See, Christianity's not as bad. They see you as Noahide. You want to address that, or you just want to throw out your Bart Ehrman says, but hey, Bart Ehrman says it. Bart Ehrman's been destroyed in several books that I've read. Have you read Bart Ehrman or any of the other books? No, you haven't. All the people that ever told me the scholars agree, and Bart Ehrman says, there's been 2 peer-reviewed, one's a PhD dissertation, the other one's peer-reviewed books arguing that we don't know for a fact Jesus existed. There's been no recent peer-review books by scholars arguing that Jesus did exist. And they never lead with the evidence. They just have this like arrogance and authority of like, oh, nobody disagrees. And if you do, you're a fringe conspiracy kook. It's a debate ender. They never lead with the evidence. And then you go, okay, well, what's the proof? And they say, well, Josephus and Tacitus, they weren't even born when Jesus was supposedly alive. They're after Christianity had already spread around and had been a historicized, euhemerized Jesus in the Gospels.
This person is my God, meaning there's no other God. That's my God. Like the Egyptians, the Nile was their God. Or Baal Peor, or the goat. That's a different form of idol worshipping. Or like the Hindus in India, they have all these big statues. You go to Tibet, to Thailand, to Japan, to all these Oriental countries, they bow down to idols. They believe in this Buddha and Shmuda and all these gods that they made up. That's pure idol worshipping. But to believe in a God of the Torah and just say that there is another entity that he uses him to run the world, that's called shituf. It's a lower.
So they still see it as a false Messiah. They see it as a satanic corruption of Judaism. They see it as they have problems with it, but they see the benefit. Still, ultimately, it benefited them. And Christians desperately trying to ignore that. Notice how they always, how the Jews and Zionists always like to highlight the Christian anti-Semitism. Why would they bring attention to the Christian anti-Semitism? Because it makes you look stupid. Because it helps the Jewish cause. Jake Shields here, who is not a Christian, tells this guy, Christ is king and you are a faggot. 5,000 likes. I don't know how many the other guy had. This is not a response to this. So you don't even believe in Jesus. You're saying Moshiach is King David, as if that's an omen on the Jews when they're literally laughing at you about it. See how non-Christians like Jake Shields abuse phrases? See how they jump on it. They pounce on it when you do this and highlight it and say, look at our opposition. Look at how clownish they are, blaming us for killing God. That's what they do. This guy, Apostate Prophets, who converted to Christianity from Islam and then atheism, just stole one of C. Through clips and literally tried to black out his logo. Yeah, isn't theft a sin, Apostate Prophet? Yeah, Jake Shields helped train the IDF, right. And all of his audience are a bunch of lying, anonymous fucking retards who do nothing but slander and lie and call me Jewish. They're literally agents, foot soldiers, henchmen of Jews is all they are. Telling everybody to worship a Jewish Messiah. And this is why they highlight it. This is why just a couple streams ago, they did the whole big report about how Christ is king is being used. That's the dialectic where you lose, where you're guaranteed to lose. Imagine thinking that the talking points that Jews created for you that are rooted in Judaism are the only way to go and not obvious controlled opposition. Jake Shields says, he's just using Christ is king as an anti-Semitic dog whistle, you fucking dork. Christ is king. This is pandering for shekels from Christians. Jake Shields, who was scared to have me on, claims he doesn't know enough about Jesus to have me on the podcast. Just like none of the rest of the podcasts and all of these anti-Zionist circles will even question the Jewish Messiah, will even question the Bible as a scam. And anybody find that a little bit weird? Christians are their biggest slaves. Most Zionists in the world are Christians. Their greatest allies and supporters. And then they literally blacklist and blackball. Nobody that will say Jesus is a Jewish myth is allowed in the conversation at all. Strictly Christian-controlled opposition gatekeeping is what you get. What's conspiracy truther saying here? He's using Christ as king for the good of the nation. That's not using his name in vain. Completely falling for the Christian-controlled op trap. He claims he doesn't know enough about Jesus to talk to me about Jesus, but then wants to be online telling everybody Christ is king. I think I wrote, where did I write? Yeah, thinks taunting Jews with Christ as king is good for the nation. No. Believing in a Jewish king is the main reason that Zionists have so much influence in America, is because they believe that Moshiach is King David. All Jewish concepts. I mean, they could just watch one of the many compilations that we've been posting over the years showing all of how they actually view Jesus, but you don't want to do that. That takes too much work. Just regurgitate and echo and parrot what all the other kooks say, huh? Odin says, it's shocking but also annoying how all these millions of based red, black-pilled sheep truthers in the alt media never talk of these things with so much info all documented. They instead shill the Bible, become lazy and apathetic kooks, but cry persecution if you don't believe all the nonsense. Opposing Jews and Israel from the Christian standpoint is a strategy that only gives them more power by strengthening their victimhood and discrediting their opposition. Zionists all highlight you doing this because it helps them and makes their opposition look bad. That's why they try to bring attention to it. That's why they were all clipping you up saying Christ is king like this. That's why they wrote up a big report. It's not because it's actually a threat to them. It's because you're falling into the trap and playing the opposition that gets destroyed.
When we say Christ is king, it's
here's a see through it all mix.
It's not something that when we say Christ is king, it's not something that they just can't participate in. It is something that they hate. So every time someone says Christ is king, it fills them with wrath, pride, anger. They hate to hear this because they actually don't mind when people say, I'm Christian, but when a Gentile comes and says, Christ is your king, Christ is king, Jesus is the king of the Jews, he's the king.
So is this any different than rabbis saying, Moshiach is your king, goy? You're going to be a Noahide and bow down to Moshiach, goy. It's no different. It's the same exact thing. They get the last laugh because you're worshiping a Jew. Stacia for 5 for the Not a Jew challenge. Thank you, Stacia.
King of the world. They say, don't say that though. They say, don't, that's actually a problem.
I, as a Jew, have not only no problem with people saying, for example, Christ is king. I think that that's
like, we post this video. Do we get a retraction? Do we get an apology? Are they ever going to admit you're wrong? No, how can I not be happy when I see millions of goyim chanting Christ is king?
a good thing for Christians to say. I want Christians to do that because I think that for American society. More people need to declare who are Christian that Christ is king and go back to church because after all, Jesus was a Jew and not only.
Right.
Yeah, got to get those Christ cut donos. Even the influencers that aren't even Christian will blacklist you because they don't want to offend their little triggered beta Christian followers. They don't want to lose any of their donations and their tithes and their support. They don't want the mob of pitchforks of Moshiach sheep coming for them, calling them Antichrist. It's despicable. It's despicable. All these Abrahamic gatekeepers. No questioning, just Jewish fighting on both sides. Two Jewish sects fighting over the Messiah. Can we have real opposition to Judaism? Nope. Best we can do is being mad about rejecting the Jewish Messiah. Christ is king of the Jews.
Was a Jew, was a practicing Jew.
You hear that, gripers? No problem with you saying Christ is king because it means Moshiach is king according to the prophecies. He's king, the Messiah, son of David, the king of Judah. That's why he has no problem with it.
Does Ben Shapiro and Dennis Prager promote Christianity for Gentiles? Do they?
Not really, no.
Yes, they do.
Not really.
Yes, they do.
No,
oh, my gosh. Yeah, right.
Really.
That's what I'd love to see is a more Christian America in which more people choose
Just
God.
Total gaslighting, lying.
Like
I saw a clip of Nick the other day where he talked about how he was gaslighting Jeremy Boring as well. They're just liars. Christianity is a lie, and the only way to defend it is to just become a pathological liar. That was on a space where I got to the one time I've ever talked to De Fuentes. He's been dodging me for years and slandering me, and all of his retarded Anon followers constantly lying about me. What was I going to say?
It's going to require more powerful Christian leadership.
See a more Christian America because Christians are the biggest supporters of Israel.
The greatest friend and ally on this planet to the Jewish people should be the Christian.
That's what I was going to say. It was on a space, and it was like I got to talk for barely at all, and then some Muslim woman that was the space host took my mic away. That's how it went down. And then the groypers were all like, oh, that queen, that Muslim queen, and she came out to be like a virulent anti-white Muslim woman Khaleesi. Living, she cut my mic. The Muslim woman cut my mic so I couldn't respond. And now she's posting all this anti-white shit on our timeline.
And if you're not, something's wrong with your theology. I love you, but something's wrong with your theology.
So I believe the Torah is from God. I believe the Jews are the chosen people. The largest group of people who believes Jews are the chosen people are Christians. Most Jews don't believe it, but Christians who are serious Christians do believe it.
The Jews' best friends are Christians. That's a fact. Yeah. That's not an opinion. That's just a fact.
And the Christians are just like la 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 la. Nothing they hate more. Christ is king. Nothing they hate more. Rabbi Yeshua is king. Every knee will bow to the Jewish Messiah. Like, so sick of these guys.
I am rooting for Christianity's survival as much as you, the Christian, is or are.
Nothing they hate more. Nothing they hate more. Over and over again. Jake Shields again. Which two men in Judeo-Christian values, which two men in history were hated by Jews the most? Names only. Jesus and Hitler. Her and Suleiman are anti-whites, I know, yeah. Jake should actually investigate what the top rabbis in Judaism say about Jesus. They say it's idolatrous, but that he helped prepare the world for the Messianic age. Why won't you expose that? You want to? These guys act like they expose Judaism and Zionism and rabbis, but they'll never share the compilations that See Through It All and the clips See Through It All finds. They're not. They're fakes. They're frauds. They're covering for the rabbis and the Jews. That's what they're doing. Covering for them by not exposing what they're doing and by only exposing controlled op rhetoric and lies. See Through It All says another day in Zion. Yeah, you want to say, oh, Rabbi Shmuley hates Jesus. Have you read his book on Jesus? where he says Jesus is kosher? Oh, you know nothing about that, huh? Don't want to hear about it? You just want to stay willfully ignorant? Shields pisses me off too, because he led me on for months claiming that he's like, oh, he's interested and he thinks I have a point and wants to have me on. And then his assistant is constantly lying about me, calling me Jewish online. All of his audience and followers of faceless anonymous trolls constantly lying about me, and doesn't give me a chance to come on and question everybody worshiping a Jewish superhero. That won't have me come on to defend myself from all the slander. Kept telling me for months and months, oh, I'll have you on next month. Oh, I'll have you on next month. Never gives me a date. And then I go, hey, what's the deal? You're spouting all this nonsense. Your manager and your followers are all lying about me. And he goes, oh, you're a jerk. I'm not having you on. Fuck off. These guys are all fucking... And it's not even just him. He's just one little cog in the wheel. He just started learning about Jews after like October 7th. He's clueless. He doesn't know. He's just regurgitating and learning from all these other controlled op talking points that have been around for decades and have gotten us nowhere. Where have these Christian controlled op talking points gotten us? The most Zionist president ever? The most Zionist government we've ever had? Huge W, guys. Falling for the controlled op trap with this misleading Christ is King slop. Now watch this. Notice how they try to scapegoat atheist for Judaism and then say they scapegoat Khazarians and Europeans for Jews. But the Schofield cope and the secular Israel cope.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Like Herzl was
so all of Fuentes, Stu Peters, Jake Shields, Lucas Gage, Fresh and Fit, E. Michael Jones, Jay Dyer, the Ortho Bros, the Groypers, the Catholics. This is the controlled opposition. They oppose Jews, but they worship the King of the Jews and the God of Israel.
Was the founder of Zionism. Herzl was the founder of Zionism. Was an atheist, and so has Ben.
Zionism is Judaism. Zionism long preceded Ben Gurion and Herzl, who I don't even know that they were atheists. They just weren't practicing Jews, possibly agnostic. There were Kabbalists, Messianic movements. What do you think Zabbatai Zvi was? That was a Zionist movement of a Messiah trying to return to the land. Zionism began when the temple was destroyed. They've been praying 3 times a day. Next year in Jerusalem, praying to rebuild the temple. And you're going to try to say Zionism is just these atheists 100 to 150 years ago? The founder of Zionism was atheist. No, and I get what I think these guys are doing. I think I get the mindset. They're like, maybe we can convince Christian Zionists that Israel is not a real biblical prophetic people, and then they won't support them. But they've been saying this forever, and it doesn't work. And you're not covering the magnitude of the actual conspiracy. The conspiracy is it's Jews wanting to fulfill their prophecies of returning to the promised land, the ingathering of the exiles, making Aliyah into the promised land, rebuilding their temple. That's the conspiracy. And instead, you're complaining about atheists? Are atheists to blame for Zionism in Israel? Or is it Judaism? Are we going to say it's the Talmud, or are we going to go for the whole shebang and just say it's the Torah? This Talmud and Schofield, those are Jewish scams, but the Torah is not? So you're running cover for the Torah? Running cover for Torah, the actual conspiracy, and the Jews, all in one 30-second clip.
Herzl was the founder of Zionism, was an atheist, and so was Ben Gurion, the first prime minister. So, like, yeah, it's hilarious. Like, you got these atheists telling you this is our land because God said so. Wait, what?
And the evangelical Christians just eat it up. So they were smart. They go, okay, how are we going to get the support? Oh, we're gonna tell them God gave us this land, because they were debating. They didn't care.
No. It's not the Jews that said God gave us this land. It's the Bible that says it. The Torah. Oh yeah, Schofield convinced the Christians that God gave him the land. You mean the Torah? You mean quoting verses from the Torah that say where the promised land is? Yeah, it's just the Schofield Bible that did it. They're literally running cover for what the conspiracy is. My criticism, they're not going far enough. They're trimming at the leaves.
This is our land because God said so. Wait, what?
And the evangelical Christians just eat it up. So they were smart. They go, okay, how are we going to get the support? Oh, we're gonna tell them God gave us this land, because they were debating. They didn't care what land originally. They were talking about what land they should take, and then it was the land. Like, okay,
no, it was the Nazis that talked about Madagascar, sending them other places. The Jews only ever wanted to go to one spot. Kidding me? They're obsessed with returning to their promised land, and you're going to say, oh, the Jews didn't care where they were going? Maybe one or two said they can go anywhere and have a state. Like, you're not.
I guess we'll take this.
Schofield Bible is a scam too, which a lot of the evangelicals follow.
Yeah. So the Schofield Bible's a scam, but you won't ever call the Torah a scam? How come none of these big critics of Jews will ever say the Torah is a scam? Isn't that like clown world to you guys? Do I feel like I'm taking crazy pills that none of these guys that act like they're exposing Jews will say the Bible, the Torah, is a scam?
Doesn't anyone notice?
Come on, this sucks. I need a real soundboard.
Notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Not one of them. Not one of them. And then not only will they not criticize the Torah ever, but then they'll actually run extra cover for the Torah and say that the Jews don't follow the Torah. The Jews don't believe the Torah. So notice what they're doing. They're atheist washing Zionism. It minimizes the magnitude of the conspiracy. Like, the critique is that it's Jews trying to fulfill their prophetic plan to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. And these Zionist ambitions existed long before Herzl and Ben Gurion. So why are we complaining about Schofield and Herzl when the conspiracy expands so much further than that? Jake, can you just tweet the Bible is a Jewish scam? Can you just tweet Jesus is a Jewish myth? Could you do that? Oh, you can't? Well, then I guess you're never going to expose what's going on. You're running cover for the biggest Jewish conspiracy there is, the Bible. They won't criticize what the whole root of Jewish identity and the Jewish agenda is all rooted in the Torah, the Tanakh, expanded on in the Talmud and Zohar and Kabbalah. But the way they'll never criticize the Torah or question the king of the Jews that walked on water and was born a virgin, they won't ever do that. What are they scared of offending a large portion of their audience? Is that what it is?
Says to prove that
they'll never share any of the real rabbi clips either. That's the real problem.
the Christians and the Muslims came and they say, we are not challenging Judaism. We are the witnesses to prove that God gave the Torah to the Jews.
You see, Christians and Muslims are not opposing Judaism. They're not fighting against Judaism. They're fighting within Judaism. Fighting over their specific flavor of Judaism. That's Jewish. That's by definition Jewish controlled opposition.
They call it the Old Testament. Same thing the Muslim, they believe in the Torah. Half of the Quran is from the Torah. Ibrahim, Sarah, all the stories from the Torah appears in the Quran. They never tried to say God never gave the Torah to the Jews. The opposite. In the Quran, in many, many places, it describes Mount Sinai. How the Jews...
Yeah, VT American. If you promote a Jewish Messiah, an obviously fake mythological Jewish Messiah as the solution, you're Jewish. If you're a Christian and you're promoting Christ as king, you're promoting Jewish theological supremacy. Have I made that clear enough? If you're promoting Jewish religions like Christianity, you're Jewish. Your book says salvation is of the Jews. You're spiritually Jewish. You call yourself the new Israel. Christianity is a branch of Judaism. If you don't oppose Christianity, you're not opposing Judaism. All right? You super chatted VTA? Well, let me look for it. I think I read your one earlier. Okay, VT American says, I do not think you're wrong, even though Google says so, but you're like a truther that finds flat earth, and that this is not flat earth. Believing Jesus is real is like flat earth. Thinking the Bible is real is flat earth here. And then spends years covering it, big tech, except for you, it's exposing the Christianity lie. Yeah, I'm exposing the Christianity lie. No lies detected. It's not like flat earth, though. Saying Jesus, there's no evidence at all for the earth being flat, just like there's no evidence at all for Jesus being real. Only terrible, poor evidence. All the evidence suggests it began as a mythological figure like every other god. You super chatted 5 other times? I'm sorry, I have multiple tabs open. Zionist Cuck says, a Jewish rabbi, Yeshua, is the God of the universe, everybody. Case closed, Goyim. I don't see any other super chats.
Jews got the Torah from God, how he took us out of Egypt, how Pharaoh was a wicked king. There's a lot of things that is copied from the Torah. So they adopted the Torah as a divine book because they know you cannot deny it. The Christians.
If you don't deny the Torah, you're not Amalek. Amalek denies the Torah. So you're not, like in their own words, they tell you clearly, if you don't believe their God, if you oppose the Torah, if you don't believe in their covenants, if you don't want to bow down to the Moshiach, you are Amalek. Christians don't apply to any of that. So you're not Amalek. You're not real opposition. John Garadas for 10 says, okay, upping the game, $10 shekel. Don't be a Jew challenge. Come on, guys. We got to get to 200 today. Come on. We got bills to pay. We got kids to feed. Okay, hold on. Next clip. Man, it's getting hot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this jacket. It's getting hot. Summertime? The jacket might have to be a winter thing exclusively because we're not running the AC and winter's over. Either that or I'm going to have to move way up north. Make Aliyah to the Viking homeland. Then I can...
Sure, Christians and Jews think different things. Judaism is the foundation of Christianity. Jesus himself acknowledged this. The New Testament acknowledges this. The notion that Judaism and Christianity are somehow completely delinked and teach two completely separate lessons ignores the fact that the Old Testament is part and parcel of the New Testament. Sure, Christians and Jews think different things. Of course. Otherwise, I'd be a Christian or you'd be a Jew. If we thought completely the same thing, then presumably we would have the exact same religion. But the notion that Judaism and Christianity are completely delinked is wrong. Judaism is the foundation.
Yeah, they'll sit here and be like, there's no such thing as Judeo-Christian. Like, you worship the Messiah who is the heir of King David, who is the king of Judah. What religion were all of the first Christians following? Judaism. Jews, Judeans, living in Judah, following their Judeo religion. Come to Norway one day. I know I have to go to Norway one day. Norway one day. Mega rabbi trading cards. None of the Christ cucks will ever share these and tell you what the rabbis actually say about Jesus. Paul or Peter, the double agent, changed Jewish Christianity into pagan Christianity, and for that we are forever grateful. God has an intermediary stage, Christianity and Islam, weaning the idolaters from their idolatrous beliefs. Paul of Tarsus took the Gentile world away from paganism and made them embrace the 7 Noahide laws. The first pope was actually a Jewish scholar. He wasn't a pope. He was a rabbi living in Jaffa. How can I not be happy when I see millions of goyim bow down to... These are all real quotes, and the Christians won't share any of this. They just keep lying and saying there's nothing they hate more. They'll share fake clips of fictional rabbis, Christian identity idiots doing a rabbi voice, and they'll share that around as if it's real. And then when we show you what the rabbis do say, they go, you believe the rabbis? No. This is what the rabbis believe. This is what they say. I believe this is what they say and believe. You want to say the rabbis hate Jesus, but then when I show you what the rabbis actually say, you say you believe the rabbis. Do you believe the rabbis when they say something bad about Jesus? This selective confirmation bias. Big Tech said he loves Jews and Jesus and he hates you now, Adam. Yep, Big Tech sold out. And we have all the receipts of all these rabbis saying it, and it's got 200 likes. You know, doing all the work, getting all the receipts, putting it all together, wrapping it up in a nice bow for everybody, and then they all ignore it because they want to stay controlled opposition. They want to lose. They want to fall in the trap, and they want to take the bait.
The whole world to be monotheistic. He's therefore, if you look at history, and for some reason I haven't seen anybody talk about it, but it's so obvious to me. After the destruction of the Second Temple, two major religions come to the scene. Christianity first, close to 2,000 years ago, and then later on, about 1,600 years ago, Islam. Why did they just wake up? Why now, not before?
I don't need the rabbis to know that Christianity was started by Jews and that it conquered all the other gods and religions of the world. I don't need the rabbis. My source for that information is not the rabbis. I'm simply showing you that this is what the rabbis are all over the internet bragging about. They're laughing and bragging and rubbing it in your faces. And then these Christians will be like, oh, you're a Jew because you post rabbis. You mean I am exposing rabbis? Exposing rabbi compilations of them being supremacist or hating Gentiles or bragging about their theological conquest of the world? And that's what you're going to try to use against me? One of the top people in the world exposing rabbis. And then you're going to say, you believe the rabbis, like you're a secret rabbi. They try to call me rabbi when Jesus is literally called rabbi in the Greek. And they go, that just means teacher. That's all rabbi means. Everything about these Christians is a lie and a cope. And it pisses me off so much. Their lies and their copes is what enables the Jews to get away with what they get away with. They're shielded by a layer of Christian lies.
Right? And what do these two have in common?
Yeah, rabbi in Judaism, it just means teacher as well.
They are monotheistic for the most part. These are the major religions today. That is what is going on a Kabbalistic level, on a spiritual level. The minister of Esav wants to be religious all of a sudden. And why is Hashem allowing this? What did we say, what the last 2,000 years about? It is all in preparation of Mashiach. It is all the Messianic era. Hashem wants to prepare the whole world to be monotheistic. He's therefore helping, indirectly, people who want to be monotheistic to be monotheistic. And two major religions are formed. Now, the Christians didn't do it on their own. The Jews helped them. Remember, the first Christians were Jewish, in a sense. Right? Who basically brought this about? They obviously embraced it, they went along with it, but, right? Without having to go into too much depth of how it actually began. You know what I mean. I mean, it's coming from Judaic sources.
It's coming from Jews. Jews did it. Onks Rock says, the moment you dive into Near Eastern mythology and how Athenian philosophy shaped new religions, it becomes strikingly obvious what Christianity is. Yeah, having the context of how religions form and how Christianity is syncretic and not original. It's not even original. You find everything in the Dead Sea Scrolls that you later find in Christianity. Yeah, Adam goes to the source, and that's not enough. Pure cult shit. Yeah, showing all these Christians stuff that they never even knew about or heard about, and they just instantly close off and shut down and go cognitive dissonance mode, and then just lie. So you don't believe in the Jewish king? Then you're a Jew. You don't believe in magical Jewish prophecies? You're a Jew. You don't want all the Goyim to be enslaved to the God of the Jews? You're a Jew.
They accepted the Bible. They call it the Old Testament, but still, they accept it as the Word of God. Wait a minute, what? They accept this? That this is the truth? Yeah. There's a lot of common ground.
All three of the faiths Abrahamics come out of the Jews. So just stop saying it's Judeo-Christian. It is Judeo. That's what it comes out of. And it's not some kiss the Jews' ass. I'm just not going to lie to people and say, Christianity has nothing to do with Jews.
Well, all we disagree on is a few years of miracles. Matthew 5, Yeshua taught that he came not to abolish the law and the prophets, but to fulfill them. Matthew 15:31, he says, when the crowd is amazed at all these miraculous healings, as a result, who did they glorify? The God of Israel, it says, was glorified because of Jesus' miracles.
Jesus said, I came not to discard the Old Testament, but to fulfill it. So an expansion of Judaism to everyone. That's why people say, don't say Christian, Judeo-Christian history. No, it is Judeo-Christian history. And so recognize those good parts and celebrate that. And I see some of the real racists out there that think everything's a Jewish conspiracy when it's not. They literally go, it's not Judeo-Christian.
That's the other thing too. They'll always say, like VT American said, oh, another rabbi clip. Dude, we play clips of Christians all the time on the show. We'll do hour-long or 3-hour-long videos reading quotes from Nazis nonstop, saying all the same stuff that the rabbis are saying about Christianity and Judaism. And you ignore that. You ignore all that and say, oh, your source is rabbis. We'll show you in the Old Testament and New Testament, plain as day, the conspiracy laid out in the scriptures. We'll show you the rabbis bragging. We'll show you the Nazis exposing it. You'll show the Christians being the useful idiot, parroting all of the bullshit. And then you say, oh, yeah, another rabbi, huh? Yeah, you're running cover for the rabbis. You're mad that we're exposing all the rabbis, huh? Is that what it is? Mad we're exposing your Rabbi Jesus, your Rabbi Paul and James and Peter? Mad that we're exposing all rabbis and all Jewish lies?
Well, yeah.
They go, you only attack Christians, not Judaism and Jews. You're spiritual Jews. You're a branch of Judaism. You're the key to their power. And the fact that you don't get that and they keep repeating the same bullshit at me.
It is Judeo-Christian because it's Abraham.
Yeah.
And all three of the monotheistic things come out of Abraham and the Jews. So, so just sorry. Yeah. And it's not like I'm worshiping Jews here. No, it does come out of the Jews. Right. So let's just be honest about it and say, okay, you got to throw Jesus out, everything else out, if you don't say it comes out of Abraham.
There you go, guys. That Jones is right. You got to throw it out. If you don't want to worship a Jew, if you don't want to fall for Jewish tricks, if you don't want to be a sheep following a Jewish shepherd, don't. Aren't you tired of being pawns in a Jewish fairy tale? General commentary for 5 says, Odysee is working again, I take it. Yeah, it was only a couple days that the monetization was messed up. Excellent work lately, bud. I like to see you on Spaces more. Lots of nuts to crack out there. I was listening to a Space the other day, and at first I was just like so black-pilled because every Christian speaker was dumber than the next. But then a bunch of like Nietzschean and pagans came on and like, They totally get it. It gave me some optimism. It took me from black pill to a little white pill. Listen to some of these guys. So yeah, I do. I should start hosting my own spaces. I will. General commentary. Zornder Edom says, Adam, I've got to be honest. It is super difficult to imagine most people I know even being ready or capable of taking the green pill. Most people can't even begin to get it. It is a serious psychosis. They're already the results selectively breeding for docility. True. General commentary again says, one more thing, Adam. Any thoughts on the recent attacks on InfoWars reporters? I mean, I'm against swatting of anybody. They're being swatted. The one guy got killed, although it could have just been like a car robbery gone bad, gone violent. Is that what you're referring to? The swattings? It's bizarre to me that swatting is even still a thing. Like you'd think that the FBI or 911 or the police departments would like have some type of safeguard to prevent swatting from happening. It's disgraceful. And the left is, as much as the right is frauds and Zionist and shills, like the left are just like, violent liars themselves. So yeah, I hope nobody gets hurt from any swattings, and I think it's fucked up.
Yeah, and so it's not some defense of Judaism. I'm sick of hearing that we have no connection to Judaism.
So when the Messiah comes, now that faith is opened up to everybody. Yeah. And that's why for us, if you look at the look of the Orthodox Church, even like the way the priests dress, the bishops, they look like, you go watch Mel Gibson's The Passion, it looks like those guys. So now that baptism has come, circumcision isn't needed anymore because...
Hey, you LARPing pagans. Like, I wear like athleisure clothes. I don't LARP as a pagan. I made AI images as a theme to honor where I came from and to stick it to the Jews that want to Judaize and make everything Christian. I do AI images of me as Jesus too. Meanwhile, you're literally LARPing as Jewish wizards and Pharisees. How dare we talk about the wizards in their robes? Your priests look like rabbis and wear robes and don't trim their beards and wear funny hats and wear staffs and are LARPing as Pharisee Jewish wizards.
If the covenant is open to the Gentiles, then they need a way to easily come in.
So complex, bro.
And the Muslims and the Christians admit that the Torah is a divine book. This is one of the hardest thing to digest. We have more than 4 billion Muslims and Christians combined in the world. None of them ever try to deny that Judaism is the word of God. The opposite. They base their religion as a continuation of the Torah. So what could be a better proof? And they are the ones who admit with no hesitation. Of course God spoke to Moses. What's the question? Of course he gave him the Torah. Millions of people witnessed that. There's no question about that. We just claim that there is one more prophet.
I agree that the Torah is the word of God. I agree that the Jews were God's chosen people.
Yeah, about the chosen people. So here's the thing.
Yeah, well, do the Jews prefer us to believe that they're chosen or to say you were never chosen? Would the Jews prefer all the Goyim to believe in their magic books and their magical prophets or not believe in them? Tough question. What was their goal all along? Oh, that all the nations would believe in their God. Okay, there's your answer. Imagine thinking this is real opposition when you're affirming all of the foundations of Judaism. Oh yeah, we believe you're chosen and you have the covenant and the Messiah to save the world comes through you, and then pretend like that's real opposition. It's not.
As Christians, I'm Catholic. As Christians, we believe that the Jews were chosen.
A lot of my Christian followers came up and says, yes, you are the chosen.
Excellent.
Every good thing we know, all the things we love about the Bible, they were given to us of the Jewish nation.
Okay, so just hours and hours of compilations of all of this stuff and all of these namers and noticers and red pillars and anti-Zionists all turn a blind eye to it because they're part of it, whether they know it or not.
Jews. Now, Christians would say that he chose the Jews, and that out of the Jews he would bring his Messiah, and through that Messiah the whole world would be led to worship the God of the Jews, which I would say is the case among Christians. The Christians worship the God of the Jews.
That's why I root for Christians.
The Messiah will come, and the worship of the God of the Jews will be made universal.
I'm a believing Jew who is rooting for Christianity to succeed. You are bringing the world to my Torah and my God.
Great job. Thanks, Christians.
That is exactly what I believe. That is right. But here again, so many Christians didn't do that. There's even worse. There's a replacement theology. Jews schmooze. We're the new Israel.
Look, there's a lot of bad theology. We can't go into that. We've only got a couple of minutes left.
Just had to note it.
But okay, so
wanted to make you feel bad.
I have to
obviously
ask you. Now, by the way,
failed.
you know Jesus was a Jew, right?
No.
Yeah, but I just have to ask you, because you're around so many Christians, do you think it could be possible that Jesus could be the Messiah of the Jews? Is it possible?
It is possible. The issue, if the only claim for...
Look at this. We got breaking. Trump participates in Greek Independence Day celebration with the Orthodox Greek priest.
Peace to the world.
Is this who I think it is?
America invincible.
Oh, God. I want to watch this. Look at all those cell phones. Hold on. This is the priest. This is who I think it is. Look at this. I already have him up in the tabs today. Where is he? Yep, same one. This is who Trump just invited to the White House, guys. Look. See the face? Nose check. Nose check on the priest.
Thanks, John.
Look at what he says. Anti-Judaism is, in essence, another manifestation of anti-Christianity. See? One and the same. You're anti-Moshiach, you're anti-Christianity, you're anti-Christ, you're anti-Judaism, you're anti-Semitic, and anti-Moshiach. In essence, Christianity is just a manifestation of Judaism. So if you criticize Judaism, you're criticizing Christianity. Of course, that's who Trump invites to the White House. Hold on. How should I do this? I'll do it later. Amazing. Should we watch this? Breaking, watch this.
We all look forward to a bright future for all Americans. I also want to thank you for creating the White House Faith Office, which promises to be an extraordinary collaboration between your administration and all faith leaders.
Oh, he's part of the faith administration too?
Today, Mr. President, you bestow extraordinary
Hey, this guy, I see this guy. He's the Greek Christian that follows me on Twitter, Pete something.
Upon the Greek American people with the annual Greek Independence Day celebration here at the White House.
Greek Orthodox is different than Russian Orthodox. They're both Orthodox, but there's different
we are all
branches.
Humbled by the prestige of this celebration, and on behalf of all, I thank you. Thank you for continuing this wonderful tradition that recognizes the Greek roots of democracy. We are here to celebrate.
Yeah, Greek roots of democracy. That's true. Nothing they hate more, by the way. That's why the Orthodox Christian is invited into the White House by Zion Don, right?
The world's first democracy, Greece. But we are here also to celebrate the world's greatest democracy, the United States of America.
Ziocracy, maybe.
We acclaim and remember the immortal heroes of 1821, who, like those of 1776, gave their all to attain liberty for their land. Mr. President, we especially thank you for your commitment to Christianity, and especially the Christians of the Middle East, who keep Christianity alive and thriving in the lands of its origin. As sons and daughters of the Mother Church of Constantinople, whose longest-serving leader in history is His All Holiness, our Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew, we thank you for your unwavering support of the spiritual mission of the Ecumenical Patriarchate in Istanbul. Mr. President, you lead the world. You are the leader of the world.
Wow. Antichrist much? The leader of the world, the king of the world.
You are the leader in championing freedom and peace between all people. We are very grateful to you for your support of Greece and your support for the cause of justice in Cyprus. Through your leadership, you embody the values of our Christian faith and love for the gospel. You remind me of the great Roman emperor, Constantine the Great.
Whoa, Constantine the Great, huh? He's the one that really screwed Rome. He's the one that led to the fall of Rome and the Judeification of Rome. VT American says, take it as constructive criticisms. The clips get old. And yeah, I know. I'm not playing through all the clips. I don't want to play the same clips preaching to the choir. It's sad because my audience knows this stuff and has seen these clips, but I'm trying to counter all of the liars out there, the masses of liars on the internet, hoping that they'll see my video for the first time. So I know it kind of sucks. My last stream, I didn't do any rabbi clips like this. They're definitely setting up Trump as the beast of Revelations. I know. He's the savior of the world, bringing peace to the world, the king of the world, the leader of the world, and now he's Constantine. So he's the emperor of Rome, of Edom. First I've ever heard him compared to Constantine.
This emperor, your dear Mr. President.
What? This emperor, Mr. President, now he's the emperor of Edom. There we go. The beast.
One who founded and built the magnificent city of Constantinople, my birthplace, known today as Istanbul. It is my great honor to present you with this holy cross.
Holocaust? Oh, holy cross. Is Trump going to hold up the cross?
This cross is the very symbol that led this great Roman Emperor Constantine to victory, as Christ revealed to him in a vision.
Victory for Torah Judaism.
And Tuto Nika told the emperor,
the victory of Yahweh.
Go with this and be victorious, Mr. President. This cross is an everlasting symbol of peace and an invincible trophy.
Jesus said he came not to bring peace but the sword, turn household against household.
A sign of divine strength and guidance. With this cross, I pray you bring peace to the world and make America invincible.
Peace to the world. The Savior Christian who's going to bring peace to the world. Antichrist vibes. Both the priests, the bishops, the Christians, the Protestants, the Orthodox, and the rabbis all see Trump as a messianic kingly figure.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you very much. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I'll take it. Thank you so much. Greek Independence Day. Wow. I'm delighted to welcome to the White House the hundreds of proud, hardworking Greek American patriots. I know so many of you. I like most of you. Some I don't like. They get to be very tough. Some pretty tough people out there, but that's okay. We love you. We love you all. In a few moments, I'll sign the proclamation to officially recognize tomorrow, March 25th, 2025, as Greek Independence Day, celebrating 204 years That's right. Celebrating 204 years of glorious Greek sovereignty and freedom. That's a long time. That's a great thing we're doing, and such an honor to have you. So having His Eminence, the Archbishop, with us is very special, and I've been doing this from the very beginning. We missed 4 years, unfortunately. Bad things happened. A lot of bad things happened. And the world wasn't doing so well for 4 years, but we're doing well now. We're doing better now than we've ever done. We have things happening with our country that are incredible. And in terms of businesses coming in, I think we're close to $4 trillion now. Nobody's ever even heard of anything like that. And they're coming in, Archbishop, they're coming in at levels that we have never seen, and we're doing well, and the Greeks are doing well. They'll always do well. And I want to thank some of the wonderful Greek Americans working tirelessly by my side, members of my administration, friends of mine, and just incredible people. The President of Science and Technology Policy, Michael Kratsios. Where's Michael? Hello, Michael. Thank you, Michael. And Deputy Secretary of State, Michael Rigas. Michael, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I also want to thank Greeks for Trump. Those are the ones I really like. Christos Marafotsos. Christos, where's Christos? Good-looking guy he is. Thank you very much. And we also have some very powerful Greek politicians like Gus. Gus, will you please stand up? Nobody sees you. Gus Bilirakis, and he's a great friend of mine, and he's doing well. You're doing well, aren't you, Gus, huh? Yeah, I always say, stand up a little higher, Gus. And Mike Herodopoulos. Mike, thank you very much. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for everything. Lance Gooden. Where's Lance? I don't know how much Greek you have in you, Lance. You have? Oh, the Greek. You do have. That's the ultimate. You're right. And Joe Wilson, our friend, Joe Wilson. Joe, thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Joe. And EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, who's got a big job. Thank you, Lee. He's got a big job. He's got to get those permits out fast because China gives fast permits, right? They don't even do permits. They just say build. Don't worry about it. Chief Financial Officer of Florida, Jimmy Petronas, who's running in a big race. He's running in a big race, and I hear you're doing well in the polls.
Okay, let's see.
On a train from...
I was surprised because I thought the president would watch about 10 minutes.
There are a lot of people. Thank you very much. Greek Americans have blessed our country with...
Okay, we'll watch the rest later. We'll see the rest later, but there it is. Archbishop Elpidophoros. That's the same guy, I believe. Sure looked like him, right? Anti-Judaism is, in essence, another manifestation of anti-Christianity. See that? They're in it together, guys. But hey, there's nothing they hate more. There are rumors that the heifers have been sacrificed. No, they would have live streamed that shit. I don't think so. All right, let's see where we're at. We're already only got almost at 2 hours. We're going to have to be back tomorrow and pick up where we left off because there's a lot of Christian kosher disinformation that needs to be addressed. Like Jews aren't Jews. Jews worship Satan. Jesus wasn't Jewish. Where did we leave off? Right here.
Look how they talk about God. Same thing the Christians here in America. You have 50 million evangelists. They are very strong, right-wing, pro-Israel. More than Channel 14, by far. According to them, Israel should occupy the Temple Mount, kick the Arabs out of there, destroy the mosque with the golden what do you call it? Dome. And build the third temple. And we should help Israel to destroy Hamas. We should wipe out.
I just realized something. The Golden Dome of the Rock. Trump said that there are new, we're going to have a Golden Dome. The Iron Dome for America. He called it the Golden Dome. Just like the Golden Dome of the Rock.
Hamas. We should destroy Gaza. We should destroy Lebanon. That's their opinion, these Christians. You may come and say, wow, they're better than the religious Jews I know. Look how they talk about God and the temple and Jerusalem belong to Israel. We should move the embassy there. It's wonderful. There's only one problem. All of what they say is for one reason. They believe that after we will control Israel, JC, their fake Messiah, will show up. They're not doing it because they love.
Remember that face? They're not worried at all about Jesus. Oh, they're so scared. There's nothing they hate more. You think they're scared you're chanting Christ is King? Not even the slightest. They like to kvetch and play victim about it and say you're mean and this isn't real Christianity. Of course. That's the whole purpose of it.
Of us.
I wonder how much longer, are you guys going to kick the can down the road before you just admit that we're right? Oh, I think I had a super chat about that too, actually. Hold on, where's that? John Garadas, $5 shekel, don't be a Shabbos Goy challenge. John Garadas to 150 says, John Garadas will take all the blessing sparks of light from you, greedy Goyim. Thank you, John. John's really picking up the slack for all you shekel pinchers out there. 420 is Easter Sunday this year. Where's that super chat I saw? Rabbi Talmud Heimer says, Jews only get sympathy because they insist that lies are truth. Bamboozles some too well, but I think if more people get the green pill, the sympathy grift will fail and the need for paganism will be self-evident. I agree.
Or because they love us in a war against them. They, in their believe that JC is the Messiah. And they read in the prophecy when the Messiah would come. And they know we are in the end of days. They will be very disappointed to see that the Mashiach, for sure, it's not JC. Hashem organized it that this fake belief that they have in their fake religion called Christianity, helping us.
See, you're helping them. He won't say Jesus' name. They curse and they spit and they mock and they don't believe he's the Messiah. But they still see how he's Judaizing the world. It's not as bad as pagan idol worship, and it's making Christians help them. Okay? Game, set, match. Case closed. It is beating a dead horse, though, because it's like we've been exposing this every show for years and years, and the Christians just continue doubling down in their ignorance and in their lies and their delusions and their controlled opposition rabbit holes, chasing ghosts, chasing their tails, circling the wagons.
That's the reason the United States is with Israel for 50, 60 years already. If there would not be Christianity here, the last thing they care about would be Israel. What do they need Israel for? It's all from Christian ideology. What's better, a secular United States or a Christian United States? So now we have between idol worshippers that follow Christianity or total atheists. What's better? Rabbi Victor Miller, by him everything was clear. So absolutely, we should hope that there will be a very strong Christian state. Why?
What do they prefer, a pagan America or a Christian America? A Christian America. There you go. Hey, any of the lying Christians online with all of your anti-pagan memes, you want to address this? Or you're just going to ignore it and say you believe rabbis and you're a Jew? That's all you're going to do? Just lie? Gaslight yourself some more? Disgraceful.
An atheist, everything by them is against God. They don't do one thing he likes. Everything they believe in is against Hashem. Christians, 80% of what they believe, it's not against Hashem. So, yes, they make a critical mistake when they believe in a fake Messiah. They worship him, they say he's God, son of God. All kinds of different beliefs, which is a big problem. But that's their problem, not ours.
Your problem. Lawful Pencil says, great work. Hope to see you on some spaces soon. You need to cook these orthos on there. I know. The reason I haven't been doing spaces as much is because I'm writing my book. I can waste hours and hours all day on spaces arguing with morons, or I could just get the book finished. And then I could argue with the morons. I got to clip this one, too. That goes well with the other two Mizrachi clips of saying which he preferred. Compilation of just Mizrachi exposing. Again, so many different compilations over the years exposing the actual conspiracy, the Abrahamic matrix, and the Christians
Christianity
don't want to hear it.
Useful transition to take people away from paganism.
White Wolf says Jews don't hate Christians. They just look down on them as their master does a slave. They like their usefulness toward their agenda. Right. They really don't like Jesus and Christianity for Jews. They see that as the threat. But for Gentiles, they think it's part of the plan. And yeah, even though they still don't like them, they can still see, like, I may not like the burglar that robs my neighbor that I hate, but I can still see, oh, hey, that burglar got them and not me. Like, it's that type of an idea, you know? Riz Rachi. Yeah, they're fake Jews. They don't follow the Torah. All of the fake talking points that they do that literally run cover for Jews.
Towards a monotheistic belief in God. Even though Christianity was false and perverted and everything else, but it took people out of the paganism role.
Before the religion of Christianity, the Romans worshipped the stars, they worshipped the constellations, but as soon as they decided to adopt a religion, what kind of religion did they adopt? They didn't worship a god, they took a Yid, they took a Jew.
How can I not be happy when I see millions of goyim bow down to one Jew tonight? The idol worshipping of the Christians is not as bad as the idol worshipping of Nepal or India and other places.
You see, if there weren't hordes, if we weren't overrun by hordes of Christian and Muslim controlled op gatekeepers and frauds and gullible retards and shills and agents, we have all the material that we could blow the conspiracy wide open. The Jesus deception, the actual Abrahamic Yahweh conspiracy, we have all the ammunition to use against them. Instead, the Christians want to run cover for it. They want to continue worshiping Rabbi Yeshua HaMashiach.
Because they still believe in our God.
In preparing the world to make the choice to receive the Mashiach, God has an intermediary stage of weaning the idolaters away from their idolatrous beliefs and introducing them to the ideas of monotheism. Christianity and Islam are like vehicles through which monotheism is being spread into the world in order to get all of humanity on board.
Now we look at the Muslims. Maimonides clearly says, quote, "These Ishmaelites are not idol worshippers in the least, and paganism has long since been cut out from their mouths and from their hearts, and now they worship a singular God properly and without any blemish." While we consider both Islam and Christianity to be merely stepping stones in humanity's path to the true enlightenment.
It is all in preparation of Mashiach. It is all the Messianic era. Hashem wants to prepare the whole world to be monotheistic. He's therefore helping, indirectly, people who want to be monotheistic to be monotheistic.
Hey, where are all the Jews promoting me? Where's all the big Jewish podcasts to have me on? Where do you see Jews anywhere in the world arguing that Christianity is a deception to theologically conquer the Goyim? Do you see that anywhere? No, but do you see them promoting Christianity? Everywhere. All over the place.
And two major religions are formed. Now, the Christians...
They kept Jewish. They know all the content of the Bible. That will lay the groundwork for them to be with us at the end times. It's basically what he says, and really that's what the redemption of the world is all about. It's everyone serving the God of Israel together.
I believe the emergence of Christianity and Islam as great world religions represents a fulfillment of that mission. When the Jews were first chosen for this mission more than 3,300 years ago, only Jews and pagans existed. Today, the great majority of the world's population adheres to one of the three Abrahamic faiths. Thus, we speak of a Judeo-Christian ethic, or more accurately, a Judeo-Christian Islamic ethic.
And all the doings of Jesus the Nazarene and that of the Ishmaelite Muhammad, who came after him, are nothing but to pave the way for the King Messiah and prepare the entire world to worship God together, as it says.
Both Christianity and Islam have a positive function in weaning the pagan world away from paganism.
So let's centralize and worship one pagan god, and then we could take that away. You see? So
it makes me so angry that all of these Christians who act like they're exposing Jews will never share any of this material. Never. Never. They instead share fake rabbi clips of fake rabbis. Ignore the real conspiracy, spew a bunch of disinformation and kosher garbage, and never expose what actually is going on.
instead of having 20 of them, you have one or three or however many.
I just want to say this to our Christian friends, you know, just to call it as it is and say it straight out, you know, you guys are worshiping one Jew. That's a mistake. You should be worshiping every single one of us because we all die for your sins every single day.
It's the greatest paradox.
First, you get them to worship one Jew, abandon all their pagan pantheon, get them to worship one Jew, and then take that away, and then they worship all Jews. And we're already seeing Christianity in the process of that.
Of history. Christianity produced so much anti-Semitism. Not only Christianity, but it actually produced so much anti-Semitism. And yet, who do they respect most? Who do they adore? Who do they talk to all day? Who do they believe in? Who do they worship? Just another Jewish kid. And so I'm going to say it bluntly. What Christianity said about one Jew, when true reality emerges, is really the truth about every Jew. We're talking about when Mashiach comes. The whole world, the Gentile world, are going to serve them as godly in order to have a relationship with them, to draw from them. The closeness to Hashem goes through Yisrael.
And that day,
Zornder Edom, thanks, buddy, for the 25. Appreciate it so much, dude. Says, I need to be a bit frugal with my tithings, but well-deserved and essential cause. Oh, man, it gets blackpilling sometimes. You guys are the only thing that keeps me sane, but it's really frustrating. All the gatekeeping and all the controlled ops, all the lies, all the slander, all the frauds, all the retards out there and their kosher Christian propaganda.
Hashem will be one. He will be recognized by everyone as one. There will only be one truth, one religion, one form of worship.
That question is addressed in the works of Maimonides of why turn everyone.
Abraham, gold,
anything more, given it to
all Yisrael, and the.
All right. I can go on and on. Oh, let's see. We're already at 2 hours. We're going to pick up tomorrow with the lie about the Khazars and Jews not being Jews and fake Jews and synagogue of Satan and all of that kosher goy slop. They're Jews and they worship Yahweh. That's the conspiracy. Okay? We need to deal in reality. You don't need to be making up, inventing things that aren't true, only undermines what we know that is true. So we'll be exposing that. And look, this is what they think is proof. 21,000 likes. Okay. John Hopkins' genetic study shows 97.5% of Judaics living in Israel have absolutely no ancient Hebrew DNA, are therefore not Semites. Funny how you don't have a link to the study, because the study doesn't even say that. It doesn't. The study says that they're referencing here says that they do have Levantian Semitic ancestry. And they didn't test people in Israel. But this is what passes as like good evidence that Jews aren't Jews. What blog is this from? Some no-name blog? Fates Web? Investigate Life? We got a spider logo. Screenshot of a headline from some obscure unknown blog. That's your proof? Ignoring all the other studies that show that Ashkenazis do share Semitic blood with Sephardic and surrounding Palestinians in that area in the Middle East. Yes, they have European blood. They in diaspora, they mixed a long time ago. They mixed with some Europeans. We agree. That's what we're not denying that. So we'll get into that. This fake Rabbi Finkelstein video where 5,000 likes for this fake. The fake rabbi video gets 5,000 likes and spread all over the internet. The real rabbi compilations, all exposing the real conspiracy, ignored. The fake quote about most Jews do not like to admit it, but our God is Lucifer and we are his chosen people. Not even Harold Wallace Rosenthal. I did a whole stream just on this a couple streams ago called Do Jews Worship Satan? They don't. You're lying. They worship Yahweh. Yahweh is who we are opposed to, who they actually worship. Yahweh, the Jewish God. This is not Harold Rosenthal. This was only, this quote is from a guy's book called Walter White, where he claimed to interview this dude, and it was published after he was dead. So he couldn't have said, hey, I never said that. So and this is what we see everywhere, all over the internet. Our God is Lucifer. All over the Christians post and repost a fake quote, a manufactured, fabricated quote that can't be substantiated. They say, oh, it's in the Library of Congress. Just because something's in the Library of Congress doesn't mean every quote in it is real or legitimate. What if they put it in Congress to say, this is an anti-Semitic fake book with a fake quote, and that's the context that it's in there? So you won't share the real quotes of the rabbis. You won't show the real clips of the rabbis to expose them. Instead, you share fake rabbi videos and fake quotes from a dude, and you think this is good evidence. If any Christian were to get in a debate with anybody, any high-profile Christian, and they said, they admit they worship Satan, and this is your proof, you lost. You lost. Oh, the best you have is a known forgery from a anti-Jewish publication that can't be substantiated. There's no tapes of the interview. It's not on video. It's not published in this guy's book, and this is the best you have? We have so much real material and ammunition and the truth to use against them, but somehow the lies is what dominates the discourse. Propped up by bots and a network of low IQ namers. Okay. That's Synagogue of Satan. Another forgery that just went super viral. I hadn't even seen this one before. 10,000 likes. Special notice to all Jews. Exemption of Jews. Stupid Goyim nations. Support the daft law when it is presented to the American people. Literally, the key to Jewish power is low IQ, gullible, lying Christians. You want to know the key? Unironically, the key to Jewish power? Low IQ, gullible, lying Christian sheep. That's the key to Jewish power. Pure subversion, pure controlled opposition. We can repeat our triumphs of 1918 if we maintain a united front, and the dumb Goyim will fight while we profit. I had never seen this before. Supposed leak of anti-defamation leak. You really think the ADL is dumb enough to write this down? Metabunk, debunked, known forgery. Do you realize how discrediting it is that everything these Christians online share is fraud and forgeries and fakes? Do you know how that makes you look? You don't cover any of the true stuff that we have on them. You only spread the lies. And Elon, who's been close friends with Netanyahu for a long time, owns Twitter, and all of your shit's going viral. What does that tell you? There's another one they share too, a fake tweet or a fake quote from Netanyahu where it says like, we'll use them up and they'll wash away, blow away or something. A fake quote made up by Gordon Huff at Veterans Today. Another one. It's, the blue check mark. There's a whole network of gatekeepers that none of them will ever question the actual conspiracy, and they just share all of this slop. All this limited hangout bullshit. Okay, we're going to pick up with some of this. We're going to pick up on all this later. All right. I appreciate you guys for the support. We hit 200. All right. White Wolf says, Jews don't hate Christians. They just look down on them as their master. Oh, we read that one. John, thank you so much for getting us to 200, making the goal today. How about bringing Thulian Sorcerer? I would love to have Varg on. I asked him, I don't know, a year or two ago. He said he doesn't do interviews. He's never done any interviews, but he gets it. Based pagan bro Varg definitely gets it, and he's suppressed too. Thulian Sorcerer. The Thulian Sorcerer is Varg, right? Martinez is coming on Thursday. I just confirmed with him this morning. Paper Jesus will be back on. I need to get Anti-Judaic on the show also. I told him I'd have him on. I'm thinking about doing panels with a few of you guys once a week. The conference, the No More News conference room, something like that. I think that would be cool. We need more content. Yeah, Varg was ahead of his time. He was out there. And as soon as I saw what he was saying, I resonated with it completely. I was like, oh, this guy gets it. I feel the same way. Yes, happy wife, happy life. Happy Miss No More News. Let's see. All the blue check mark. All right. We got a bunch more to cover tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you all. Thank you all for the support. Huge shout out to John for the big donos, Pagan for Life, Zornder, Edom, and everybody else. Thank you. What was that Christ Cuck's name in the chat? VT American, Lawful Pencil, Rabbi Talmud. Thank you guys for making this stream possible. Down with Yahweh, hail the old gods. Help clip the show, share the link, give it a like. Let me know what you think in the comments. I need your help to break through with the Abrahamic gatekeepers. We have to break into their Jewish echo chamber, their Jewish prophecy plantation echo chamber circle jerk that they're trying to maintain. We got to break through it. All right, everybody. Have a nice night. Love you all. Take care. Oh, and get a shirt. A few more shirts are left. And I'm not even kidding. They're going to be all out in a few days. You've been procrastinating. I just don't want you to, I don't want to get emails saying, oh, I wanted one, but I didn't. I messed up.